One thing that really bothers me is being asked to watch a really long YouTube video to find out the thing that was promised. So we're not going to do that. If you're not interested in the over 24 hints, clues, and Easter eggs that Yellowstone has been dropping like breadcrumbs this year, and you only want to know the huge spoiler from this video's title, you can find the time code for it in the description section of this video. Go right to it, click, then let me know if you agree in the comments section. I mean, you're gonna be missing a lot of juice though, like definitive proof about if Season 5 will be the final season of Yellowstone. Hey, it's Billy Dukes, and welcome back subscribers to another in-depth exploration of one of the greatest shows on television. Let's not waste any more time. On July 5th, Yellowstone revealed this short little teaser on Instagram that, I'm not kidding, answers 2 of the burning questions on this list. And we've talked about it before, but some further research reveals many, many more burning questions answered. We'll play the game. Don't worry. One is super important, and the other is admittedly a little bit pithy, but what is a Yellowstone fan if not here for the details, right? So, question number 1, is Season 5 of Yellowstone the final season? Taylor Sheridan has been kind of vague about it, saying the show will last 5 or 6 seasons, and he won't let it go further than it should just because it's making him a mint. We need to know at the end of Season 5 what the plan is. I mean, obviously, if that's the series finale, we'll know, but that seems pretty unlikely because talking to Vulture, actor Kelly Riley, who plays Beth Dutton, referred to this question by saying, quote, "People keep saying, is this the end? It must be the end. It's not the end." The second question might seem a bit pedantic, but it's critical that everything that's coming up. We'll know in Episode 1 how much time has passed between Season 4's finale, rest in peace Garrett Randall, and Season 5's beginning. Subscribers to this channel know I strongly believe about 8 months have passed, and here's why. Season 4 ended when it was autumn in the Yellowstone world, and Season 5 is filming May through August. Pretty tough to hide nature, or at least expensive, and why would you do that when you don't have to? The 8-month gap also allows the show to self-correct. The last time the child actors filmed a scene for Yellowstone was actually a year and a half ago, and actor Finn Little showed us that he's, grown up. We can't just wake up a day later and Carter all of a sudden has a mustache line. That timeline brings us right to the forefront of several other storylines that I'll get to, like Summer Higgins' prison sentence and Kayce and Monica's new baby. Did you forget she's pregnant? Yeah, that's coming. Personally, and let me know if you agree here with a comment, I'm hopeful we can get all the way through John Dutton's campaign for governor, because that's kind of dull compared to some of the other things happening. If my theory is correct, he should either be governor or not be governor by the time the show begins in November. Naturally, the next question is John Dutton the governor of Montana now? And there's a spoiler to this question that I'll get to, but to catch you up, he agreed to run for governor just so the old governor didn't choose his son Jamie to run for office. A lot of people thought that once Beth blackmailed Jamie into killing his birth father, he'd drop out of the race. Perhaps Kayce would become governor. I mean, that's not too crazy of a thought because early on in Season 4, a group of old-timers were urging him to do just that, and he seemed to be considering the idea. For whatever reason, that plotline got lost, becoming another one of those famous Yellowstone loose ends. Going back to Kelly Riley's interview in Vulture, she overshared. She's casually talking about her on-screen dad's decision to run for governor and Beth's realization that she can use him to get what they want, and she says, quote, "So when he..." Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you that. Uh-oh. And credit Vulture for asking a follow-up, but she'd only say, "As the kingdom gets bigger, it becomes more difficult to manage." Go ahead and draw your own conclusions. Let's pivot for a moment to this scene.
I saw the end of us.
We'll find out what the heck Kayce saw during his vision quest during the first episode of Season 5, right? I'd actually like to start the conversation below. What do you think it means? The end of the Dutton family? The end of the ranch? The end of him and Monica? If you watched Yellowstone spin-off 1883, you may agree that the most likely outcome is the end of the ranch, or just that kind of life. There is an Indian named Spotted Eagle who tells James Dutton, as played by Tim McGraw, that in 7 generations his family will take the land back. Generation 7 is either Kayce or Tate, depending on your accounting, and characters like Mo and Thomas Rainwater have been quietly watching what's been taking place at the Yellowstone for several years without any real action. I think it's going to get tense between these two parties in Season 5, but I also think that a mutual respect will emerge, and ultimately, that is how the show is going to end. Natives get the land, maybe the Duttons have life rights. I do not think that Avery, the former dancer turned ranch hand turned vixen who confesses that she's in love with Kayce, will play any kind of role in breaking up Kayce and Monica. In fact, I get a little angry thinking about this because Kayce is really loyal to Monica. If there's this tawdry affair, I just might quit watching this show. Okay, we all know that's not true, but I'll be a little bit red in the face. How we doing here? More answers to come, like where does Jamie stand and what will the new Yellowstone prequel 1923 tell us about the Dutton family? And is the show's best villain going to return from the dead? Anything that you want to know? I'll respond to your comments below and during an upcoming episode of the Dutton Rules podcast, available wherever you podcast. We have to get to some baby mama drama now. We know who Jamie's birth father is, obviously, but who is his birth mother? That story about her being an addict is probably true, but most longtime viewers suspect she was somehow family to John Dutton, perhaps his wife's sister, or perhaps his late brother's ex-wife, maybe his sister. I don't have an answer to this one, but would be here for more on Mrs. John Dutton and have an idea on how to do it. But first, what about Jamie's baby mama? Christina, that's her name, and she was very ambitious and really eager to get Jamie into the governor's office. She also knows all of his secrets because of that interview he did that led to the journalist's murder in Season 2, Episode 6, Blood the Boy. Like that journalist, she can't just slip away. We never learned her motives for wanting Jamie to be governor so badly, but it seemed like she was up to something. Christina is like a gun slipped into a drawer early on in the theater production. You know it's going to kill someone later. Sticking with Season 2, my all-time favorite Yellowstone villains were the Beck brothers, and to me, Season 2 of Yellowstone is the best of 5 so far in this franchise. Actor Neil McDonough stirred up some real trouble recently by telling TV Insider there is always the possibility of Malcolm Beck returning. Quote, "Did I die? Did I? I'm not so sure about it. We have talked about the fact that we haven't seen Malcolm Beck's eyes closed. There's always that possibility." I've been down this road. Long-time subscribers stuck with me as I proclaimed he was the one responsible for trying to kill the Duttons at the end of Season 3. The problem is it's just kind of weak writing to have John Dutton walk away not knowing Malcolm is really dead. I mean, he'd be like Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers movies. Sure, there's always that possibility, but there is no tangible evidence worth considering. For that reason, I think Malcolm Beck will stay gone. We haven't talked about the bunkhouse yet, but there are 2 romances that I'm keen on following once again. Teeter and Kobe are amazing together, and I can't help but wonder where that's headed. Walker and Laramie seem like fire and ice, and she's nearly gotten him killed at the hands of Lloyd, but I liked watching it. All of them are back for the show. Technically, Hassie Harrison wasn't announced as being back, but this photo, taken by Denham Richards, shows her at cowboy camp. Jimmy and Emily are also back as regulars, which was a surprise because everyone thought they'd been written off to join the cast of the 4-6's Ranch show. Not yet. The ranch is still going to play a big role in Season 5 of Yellowstone. For one, creator Taylor Sheridan owns it. Second, his character Travis trains his horses there, and now Dutton is in that business. And 3, the show is finally beginning in the winter, so Season 5 will want to tee up the 4-6's show. I believe that's where this couple will end up ultimately. I kind of think she's going to end up pregnant soon as well. That's bad news for Mia, who I think is Gone gone from the Yellowstone universe. Actor Eden Brolin has not been tied to the new season yet. By the way, we did a whole other video about the new cast that I'll link to in the corner in the description section. There are some interesting new characters, one of which you might have loved to hate during 1883 last winter. Officially, the new cast members are Kai Castor as a young cowboy named Rowdy, Lainey Wilson, who's a country singer, she's going to play a musician named Abby, Lily Kay as Clara Brewer, and an assistant for one of the Duttons, and Don Olivieri as Sarah Atwood, a confident corporate shark and new arrival to Montana. At the start of this video, I made a case for an 8-month gap between the action, which accounts for Summer Higgins' prison sentence, or at least most of it. It would also allow for something else to come to term. Hey, it's a theory, but could Summer be pregnant with John's baby? I mean, she made a really big deal about him being the last person she slept with before prison. What if she comes out and John's a father again? Officially, Piper Perabo has not been listed as a cast member, but she's led us to believe that she's coming back and even went as far as to tease a spicy love story with John, and then Miss Loose Lips Kelly Riley said even more. Talking to TV Line, she shared that Beth plans to quietly destroy Summer. Well, dang girl. But by all accounts, we're getting an even more ruthless Beth Dutton this year. Alright, here's a big fat curveball, but it's one that's critical. There's a new sheriff in town after Donnie Haskell was killed. Who is he? You may recall that John and Sheriff Bill Ramsey, played by actor Rob Kirkland, don't see eye to eye, and the sheriff promises he's not going to bend like the Haskells did.
Donnie was a gambling addict and an alcoholic who only protected and served the highest bidder.
That leniency was essential to how the Duttons handled things. So, what happens now? I think it's just one more wall closing in on the Duttons. By the way, Kirkland went from mayor of Kingston, where he played Captain Walter, to Yellowstone, while Donnie Haskell actor Hugh Dillon went from Yellowstone to mayor of Kingstown. Kind of a weird Taylor Sheridan trade. I promised 2 big answers to burning questions from sharing of this video teaser on the official Yellowstone social media pages, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, but first, that big spoiler, here it comes. Take a look at this photo. Look closely, and remember what you see. It's the official promo image from season 3 of Yellowstone. Now look at this official promo photo for 1883, the Yellowstone prequel starring Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I'm going to spoil that show for you if you're still planning on watching on Paramount Plus, so this is your warning. As the prequel unfolded, it became clear the odd composition of that picture was odd for a reason. There was someone else missing, Elsa. She died at the end, leaving just James Jr., and Margaret Dutton. Now go back to the Yellowstone picture. You see John, Kayce with his wife, and Beth with her now husband, Rip. But you don't see... Oh boy. Where is Jamie Dutton in this photo that clearly finds John burying someone? I guess the good news for Jamie sympathizers is John is burying someone, which means that someone probably died on decent terms with the family, because if not, he'd be at the train station. Bad news for Jamie sympathizers? Well, your days of sympathizing are coming to a close. What do you think? Agree? Disagree? Why or why not in the comments section, and let's keep it civil. Back to the tease at the top of the Yellowstone Instagram video. Let's start and stop it right there. Hey, look who's back. The Yellowstone Chopper returns after taking a year off. A lot of people thought that the Duttons just sold it because the money was tight, but nope. The other one concerns this guy. I think this photo speaks to how messed up Jamie is doing after killing his dad, and the answer is he's doing all right. I kind of expected the bearded shell of a man who nearly killed himself in season 2, but this well-dressed, ready-to-work attorney general is looking pretty good. The Beth and Jamie relationship is going to be fascinating to watch in season 5. Kelly Riley told TV Guide magazine that they're going to be spending a lot of time together and actually need each other. Quote, Beth and John are using Jamie to put things through that they wouldn't be able to do. They need him working for the family. It's like working for the mob. Side note, shout out to TV Guide for still making magazines after all these years. Who knew? Upon further investigation, I noticed 2 other telling things about that 10-second teaser. The first is that episode 1 of season 5 is directed by Stephen K., and we're getting into the weeds a little here, but I'll be brief. Stephen directs all the big memorable Yellowstone episodes, including season 2, 3, and 4 finales, and the season 4 premiere, so pack a few snacks and empty your bladder before you sit down to watch on November 13th. It should be good. BTW, Stephen is married to Piper Perabo, who plays Summer Higgins. Just another keep it in the family moment from Taylor Sheridan. The second thing is that Yellowstone all but confirms that season 5 is not the end by referring to it as the, quote, new season. I mean, if it was the final season, we'd know all about that. Every single promo would lead with, final season, and the audience would double. I don't think Taylor is the type to just slip out the back door. I got a few more, and big thanks for watching here to the end. I really hope you'll subscribe because I promise more in-depth coverage like this as the season gets close, and especially after it begins on November 13th. These 2 items concern the prequels and flashback scenes. We know actor Josh Lucas is back to play young John Dutton, and the actors who play Rip and Beth will return for their flashbacks as well. Is this all setting up for another prequel that stars Josh and is set in about 1999? I would love that show and would love to watch it as a vehicle to better understand how Beth's mom shaped her life just before she died. There's just a gap between generations that I really hope gets filled. The new prequel, 1923, will provide some answers. We know Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford will star and presumably play an elder James and Margaret Dutton, who were Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's characters in 1883. This leads to my final question based on what that show is teasing. Were the Duttons bootleggers? I mean, the timing works, doesn't it? All that land, certainly they could get away with it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below, and then please subscribe and share this video with a Yellowstone loving friend. I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching.